Welcome back to the Coin Lover and Treasure Hunter. Today we're diving into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Kennedy half-dollar. First released in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy, this coin became an instant favorite across the United States. But here's what most people don't realize. Some Kennedy half-dollars are worth far more than just 50 cents. In fact, certain rare versions can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In this video, I'll show you 5 Kennedy half-dollars worth big money, explain what makes them valuable, and how you can identify them. So grab your coins, sit back, and let's see if you... First up, the Kennedy half-dollar from the United States dated 1967 without a mint mark is a fascinating piece of American coin history, and it holds both silver value and collector interest. In 1967, all Kennedy half-dollars were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, but during that period mint marks were intentionally removed from coins from 1965 through 1967 to discourage collectors from hoarding new issues, so a 1967 coin without mint mark is normal and not an error. These coins were produced in very large numbers with more than 295 million struck, yet many were saved because of their silver content and their connection to President John F. Kennedy, who was honored on the coin after his assassination in 1963. The coin contains 40% silver, which means it has intrinsic bullion value based on current silver prices. Even though the face value is 50 cents, the melt value is usually several dollars depending on the market price of silver, which makes it far more valuable than modern clad half-dollars. In uncirculated condition, the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar can be worth more than its silver content because condition always plays a major role in coin collecting. Uncirculated means the coin shows no wear from circulation and retains original mint luster with sharp details on Kennedy hair above the ear and strong lines in the eagle feathers on the reverse. A typical uncirculated 1967 Kennedy half-dollar may range from about $4 to $8 depending on eye appeal and silver prices higher. Grade examples certified by professional grading services such as Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Company can bring higher premiums, especially in grades like MS65 or above. However, because so many were saved in rolls and mint sets, truly rare high-grade examples are less common but still available for collectors who seek them. If you are considering buying or selling a 1967 Kennedy half-dollar, subscription to price guides or coin market services can help you track silver prices and numismatic trends. Many collectors follow updates from organizations such as American Numismatic Association, which provides educational resources, market insights, and authentication guidance. Online marketplaces also provide current asking prices, but completed sales give a more accurate sense of real market value when evaluating your coin. It is important to check for originality, luster, and absence of cleaning because cleaned coins often lose collector value. Storing the coin in a protective holder away from moisture and air exposure will preserve its condition and maintain its worth over time. For a 40-minute script about the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar, you can structure the content into detailed storytelling segments that explore history, silver composition, grading, investment potential, and collecting tips. Begin with a strong introduction that hooks viewers by asking whether they might already own a hidden silver treasure in their change, then transition into the historical background of the coin, including the decision to honor President Kennedy and the public demand that led to massive production numbers. Discuss why mint marks were removed during those years and how that affects collector perception today. Provide close-up descriptions of design elements, including the portrait of Kennedy and the heraldic eagle reverse. In the next part of the script, dive into the silver composition, explaining that the coin contains a layered structure with outer silver layers bonded to a copper core, which results in an overall 40% silver content. Show viewers how to identify the silver edge compared to modern clad coins and explain melt value calculation based on current silver spot prices. Walk through a step-by-step example of how to weigh the coin and multiply by silver percentage to estimate bullion value. This educational portion builds trust and keeps viewers engaged because they learn practical skills. Continue the script by explaining grading standards, describe what uncirculated means, and how mint state coins are evaluated under magnification. Mention the Sheldon grading scale and how small differences in luster, contact marks, and strike quality can significantly change value. Provide examples of auction results for high-grade specimens and compare them to average circulated pieces. Emphasize the importance of not cleaning coins and demonstrate how improper cleaning can permanently damage surfaces and reduce market price. Dedicate another section to investment considerations. Compare the 1967 Kennedy half dollar to other silver coins, such as the 1964 90% silver Kennedy half, and later clad issues. Explain how silver market fluctuations influence value and why collectors often hold these coins as a hedge against inflation. Discuss long-term appreciation potential balanced with realistic expectations. Because common date coins rarely skyrocket in price unless in exceptional grade, this balanced perspective enhances credibility and keeps viewers watching. Add a storytelling segment about the cultural significance of the Kennedy half dollar. Describe how Americans lined up at banks in 1964 to obtain the first issues and how the coin became both a memorial and a collectible symbol of national grief and pride. Explain how the design has endured for decades and remains in limited production today, even though it is rarely seen in circulation. This historical narrative deepens emotional engagement and makes the video more than just a price discussion. Include practical tips for collectors such as where to buy coins safely, including reputable coin shops, coin shows, and certified online dealers. Explain how to verify authenticity and avoid counterfeits, even though counterfeiting is less common for 40% silver halves compared to rarer coins. Encourage viewers to start small, perhaps by assembling a date set of Kennedy halves from 1964 onward, which creates an achievable collecting goal. Offer guidance on safe storage using coin flips, capsules, or albums designed for half dollars. Conclude the 40-minute script with a strong summary that revisits the main points about value, silver content, uncirculated grading, and market demand. Invite viewers to check their collections and share their findings. Encourage subscribing for more coin collecting insights and silver investing education. Remind them that while the 1967 Kennedy half dollar without mint mark is common, it still contains real silver and real history, which makes it a meaningful and potentially profitable piece of American coinage history. Next up, the 1973 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark is a coin that was struck at the Philadelphia Mint because during that time Philadelphia coins did not carry a mint mark, and this piece represents an era in United States coinage when half dollars were no longer widely used in daily commerce but were still produced for collectors and for mint sets, and understanding its value in fine condition requires looking at mintage numbers, historical context, metal composition, collector demand, and overall coin market trends. And this coin continues the series first introduced in 1964, shortly after the tragic assassination of John F. Kennedy, which led to the rapid creation of the Kennedy half dollar as a memorial issue honoring the 35th President of the United States, and the 1973 issue is part of the copper-nickel clad era rather than the earlier silver compositions. In 1973, the half dollar was no longer produced for general circulation, and the majority of examples were included in mint sets sold directly to collectors by the United States Mint. And because of this, most surviving pieces show relatively light wear, and many remain in uncirculated condition. However, a fine condition coin means that the piece has moderate wear on the high points, such as the hair above the ear and the cheek area on the obverse portrait of Kennedy, while the reverse, featuring the presidential seal, still shows detail in the eagle feathers and shield lines, and a fine grade generally corresponds to a grade of F12 to F15 on the Sheldon scale, which is widely used by numismatists to assess preservation and surface quality. The 1973 Philadelphia issue had a substantial mintage numbering in the millions, yet far fewer were released into circulation compared to earlier dates because banks and the public had little demand for half dollars in everyday transactions, and this limited circulation actually preserved many coins in higher grades, but also means that circulated examples are not particularly rare, and therefore the value of a 1973 Kennedy half dollar without mint mark in fine condition is typically modest, often ranging from $1 to $3 depending on market conditions, collector interest, and whether the coin has attractive original surfaces without heavy scratches, discoloration, or cleaning damage. When discussing metal composition, the 1973 half dollar is made of a copper-nickel clad structure consisting of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a core of pure copper, and unlike the 1964 issue, which was 90% silver, or the 1965 to 1970 issues, which contained 40% silver, the 1973 version has no silver content, and therefore its intrinsic metal value is close to face value, and this is important because many new collectors mistakenly assume all older half dollars contain silver, but only earlier issues in the series do, and understanding this distinction prevents unrealistic expectations about melt value or bullion premiums. Grading plays a central role in determining value because while a fine-condition coin is collectible, it is still considered a circulated example, and collectors often prefer uncirculated mint-state coins, especially for modern dates like 1973, and coins graded MS-63 or higher by professional services can command higher prices, especially if they show strong luster, minimal marks, and sharp details. Yet, even in mint state, the 1973 Philadelphia issue is generally affordable compared to scarcer dates and varieties, and this affordability makes it an accessible entry point for new hobbyists building a complete Kennedy half-dollar set from 1964 to present. Varieties and errors can add value, but the standard 1973 no-mint mark issue does not have widely recognized major varieties that significantly increase price in circulated grades. However, collectors still examine coins carefully for double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or other mint errors because such anomalies can raise interest and value substantially, and while rare errors are not common, they do occasionally appear in the marketplace, and authenticated examples graded by reputable services can sell for premiums depending on the visibility and dramatic nature of the error. Historically, the Kennedy half-dollar reflects changing attitudes toward coin usage in the United States, and by the early 1970s, inflation, rising silver prices, and shifting consumer habits had reduced reliance on larger denomination coins, and the half-dollar gradually became a denomination primarily used for casino play collector sets and occasional commemorative releases, and the 1973 issue sits within this transitional period when the coin was still produced annually but had already lost much of its everyday presence, and this context helps explain both its survival rate and its modest market value. For collectors interested in subscription details, the United States Mint has long offered annual mint sets and proof sets through subscription programs, allowing collectors to receive new issues each year, and while such subscriptions did not operate in the same modern online format in 1973, collectors could still order mint sets directly, and today similar subscription services exist through the official website of the United States Mint, where collectors can enroll to automatically receive annual coin sets including Kennedy half-dollars in proof and uncirculated finishes, and these modern subscription programs provide convenience and guarantee of authenticity for contemporary issues, though they do not significantly affect the value of past circulated coins like the 1973 example. When creating a long-form script about this coin, one could begin with an engaging introduction describing the legacy of President Kennedy, the emotional release of the first 1964 coins, and the evolution of the series into the clad era, then transition into detailed explanations of grading standards, metal composition, mintage statistics, and real-world value estimates, followed by a discussion of how to identify authentic Philadelphia issues without mint marks and how to distinguish normal wear from cleaning damage, and the script could include guidance on safe storage using coin holders, avoiding PVC materials, and protecting surfaces from environmental harm which can impact future resale value. In conclusion, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark in fine condition is a historically interesting yet financially modest coin, valued typically at only a small premium over face value due to its high mintage copper-nickel composition and continued availability in higher grades, yet it remains an important piece within the broader Kennedy half-dollar series and serves as an educational example for understanding grading, mint history, metal transitions, and collector demand, and while it may not be rare or highly valuable, it carries enduring symbolic significance tied to President Kennedy and American numismatic history, making it a worthwhile addition to a collection, especially for those seeking to complete a full date and mint set of this iconic United States coin series. Next up, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark in uncirculated condition is a fascinating piece of United States coinage history, and it represents a period when the nation was still closely connected to the legacy of President John F. Kennedy, whose image appears on the obverse of the coin. This coin was produced by the United States Mint during a time when half-dollars were no longer widely used in everyday commerce, yet were still collected by enthusiasts across the country. The absence of a mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark on circulating coinage during that era. An uncirculated example means the coin has never entered circulation and retains its original mint luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear from handling, which significantly influences its value in the collector's market. To understand the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, you must first appreciate the history of the series, which began in 1964. Shortly after the tragic assassination of President Kennedy, the United States government moved quickly to honor him by replacing the Franklin half-dollar with the Kennedy design. The coin was first issued in 1964 in a composition of 90% silver, but due to rising silver prices and hoarding by the public, the composition was changed in 1965 to a copper-nickel-clad format by 1974, the coin was entirely copper-nickel clad and contained no silver, making it different from the earlier silver issues that many collectors still seek today. Despite lacking silver content, the 1974 issue remains popular because of its historical connection and collectible appeal. The design of the coin features a left-facing portrait of President Kennedy on the obverse based on a sculpt created by Gilroy Roberts, while the reverse displays the presidential seal adapted by Frank Gasparo. The eagle with shield, olive branch, and arrows symbolizes national strength and peace. The inscriptions include "Liberty" above the portrait, "In God We Trust" split across the lower field, and the date 1974 beneath. Kennedy's bust on the reverse, the inscriptions read "United States of America" and $50 surrounding the eagle with the national motto "E Pluribus Unum." Above the eagle's head, an uncirculated coin will show crisp lettering, full feather details on the eagle, and a bright cartwheel luster that reflects light beautifully when tilted. When discussing value, it is important to explain grading because uncirculated coins are graded on a scale from mint state 60 to mint state 70, with higher numbers indicating better preservation. A typical 1974 Kennedy $50 without mint mark in mint state 60 to 63 condition might be worth between $3 and $5 depending on market demand. In higher grades such as mint state 65, the value can range from $10 to $20, and in superb gem grades like mint state 67, the price may reach $100 or more, especially if certified by professional grading services such as Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Company. These grading companies encapsulate the coin in protective holders, which increases buyer confidence and often raises the selling price. Mintage figures also play a role in determining value. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 200 million Kennedy $50 in 1974, which means the coin is not rare in absolute terms. However, high-grade examples are scarcer because many coins were stored in bags where they contacted each other and developed small marks known as bag marks. Therefore, pristine, uncirculated examples with minimal contact marks command stronger premiums. Collectors often search through original bankrolls or mint sets hoping to find coins with exceptional eye appeal and strong strike characteristics. Market demand fluctuates over time, and the value of the 1974 Kennedy $50 can rise or fall depending on interest. In modern coinage, collectors who build complete date and mint mark sets of Kennedy $50 will require a 1974 Philadelphia example, which ensures steady demand. Although it lacks silver content, it remains affordable, making it an accessible entry point for new collectors. The coin also appeals to those who collect coins featuring President Kennedy as a tribute to his legacy, and to those who appreciate 20th-century American history. When preparing a 40-minute script about this coin, you can begin with an engaging introduction that highlights the emotional story behind the Kennedy $50 and its connection to national memory, then transition into the historical background of the coin series, explaining the change from silver to clad composition and how economic pressures shaped American coinage. Discuss the technical details of minting, including die preparation, striking process, and quality control at the Philadelphia Mint. Continue by explaining grading standards in simple language so viewers understand how condition impacts value and why uncirculated coins are more desirable than circulated examples. In the middle portion of the script, explore the investment perspective. Clarify that most 1974 Kennedy $50 are common and should not be viewed as high-return investments, but rather as collectible keepsakes. Provide realistic price ranges and encourage viewers to research completed sales on reputable auction platforms. Mention the role of third-party grading services and how certification can protect buyers from overpaying. Emphasize safe storage methods such as coin holders' albums and climate-controlled environments to preserve uncirculated condition over time. Another strong section for your video could involve comparing the 1974 issue with other notable dates in the series, such as the 1964 silver issue or the 1970D, which had lower mintage. By contrasting common and scarce dates, you help viewers understand rarity and demand. You can also discuss errors and varieties, although major errors for the 1974 Philadelphia issue are not widely known. Minor double dies or off-center strikes, if found, can significantly increase value and add excitement to the hunt, which keeps collectors engaged. Conclude your long presentation by summarizing the historical significance, design features, grading considerations, and realistic market values of the 1974 Kennedy $50 without mint mark in uncirculated condition. Remind viewers that coin collecting is not only about profit, but about preserving pieces of history. Encourage them to subscribe for more educational content about United States coins and to share their own experiences in the comments. A thoughtful closing that reflects on the enduring image of President Kennedy on American coinage will leave a lasting impression and provide a meaningful end to your comprehensive discussion. Next up, The 1977 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark is a United States coin that was struck for circulation at the United States Mint. When a 1977 half-dollar has no mint mark, it means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint because during that time Philadelphia coins did not carry a mint mark. This coin is part of the long-running Kennedy half-dollar series which began in 1964, shortly after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. The coin honors his legacy and remains one of the most collected modern American coins. In 1977, the coin was struck in a copper nickel-clad composition, not in silver. This means it contains no precious metal value and its worth depends mainly on condition, collector demand, and rarity in high grades. If your 1977 Kennedy half-dollar is in uncirculated condition, that means it has never been used in daily commerce and still retains its original mint luster. Uncirculated coins are graded on the mint state scale from MS-60 up to MS-70. Most 1977 half-dollars without mint mark in typical uncirculated grades such as MS-60 to MS-63 usually sell for around $2 to $5. In higher grades such as MS-65, they may sell for $10 to $20 depending on eye appeal and market trends. Exceptionally high-graded coins certified MS-67 by professional grading services can reach higher values, sometimes $100 or more, but those are scarce. The mintage for the 1977 Philadelphia issue was over 43 million coins, which makes it common. Because of this large production, the coin is not rare in circulated condition. Even in uncirculated rolls, many examples were saved by collectors during the 1970s. This keeps prices modest today. However, coins with strong strike, brilliant luster, and minimal contact marks are more desirable. Coins professionally graded by services such as Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Company tend to command higher premiums, especially in the upper mint state range. There are no major known varieties for the standard 1977 no mint mark half-dollar, but collectors sometimes look for double die errors off center strikes or other mint errors. Genuine error coins can be worth significantly more depending on the type and visibility of the error. Always verify errors carefully because minor damage after minting does not add value. Authentication by a reputable grading service increases buyer confidence and resale potential. When discussing subscription details, if you are referring to coin value guides or coin collecting resources, many collectors subscribe to publications such as a guidebook of United States coins, often called the Red Book. Online platforms like PCGS CoinFacts provide updated auction records and population reports which help determine current market value. Subscription services for professional grading companies may also offer price guide access, population data, and market analysis tools. For a 40-minute script about the 1977 Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark, you would begin with an introduction explaining the history of the Kennedy half-dollar series and the national impact of President Kennedy. Then you would transition into the coin specifications, including diameter, weight, composition, and design elements. The obverse features a portrait of John F. Kennedy designed by Gilroy Roberts, while the reverse displays the presidential seal designed by Frank Gasparo. Explain why Philadelphia coins in 1977 carried no mint mark and how to identify mint marks from Denver or San Francisco issues. In the next section of your script, you could explain grading basics. Describe what uncirculated condition means and demonstrate how luster, cartwheel effect, and contact marks influence grade. Provide close-up camera shots showing differences between MS-60, MS-63, MS-65, and MS-67 examples. Explain how third-party grading works and how certification numbers can be verified online. Discuss how population reports show how many coins exist at each grade level. Another portion of the script could focus on market value trends. Show historical price charts and explain how supply and demand affect value. Mention that because the 1977 half-dollar contains no silver, it does not have intrinsic bullion value unlike the 1964 issues. Compare auction results for high-grade examples and discuss why superb gem coins command premiums. You can also talk about collector strategies such as searching original bankrolls for high-grade survivors. Continue by discussing storage and preservation. Explain that uncirculated coins should be stored in acid-free holders capsules or certified slabs. Avoid touching the surface with bare fingers because oils can damage the finish. Recommend stable temperature and humidity conditions. Explain that cleaning a coin reduces its value significantly and should never be done. Conclude your script by summarizing the realistic value range of the 1977 Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark in uncirculated condition. Emphasize that most examples are affordable collector coins worth only a small premium over face value, but high-grade certified pieces can bring higher prices. Encourage viewers to research using trusted guides, auction archives, and professional grading services. End with an invitation to like, subscribe, and continue learning about coin collecting history and investment potential through reliable numismatic education resources. Next up, the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark in uncirculated condition. United States of America value worth subscription detail and long information for a 40-minute YouTube script begins with understanding the history of the Kennedy half-dollar, which was first introduced in 1964 shortly after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The coin was created as a tribute to the late president, and it quickly became one of the most collected modern American coins over the decades. The composition and minting locations changed, but the design featuring the portrait of Kennedy on the obverse and the presidential seal on the reverse remained largely consistent, making it one of the most recognizable coins in United States history. When discussing the 1979 issue, it is important to clarify that a missing mint mark on a Kennedy half-dollar from this year usually indicates it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During 1979, the United States Mint had active facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins struck in Philadelphia traditionally did not carry a mint mark until 1980. Therefore, a 1979 half-dollar without a mint mark is not an error, but a standard Philadelphia issue, which means collectors should not automatically assume rarity simply because the mint mark is absent. The composition of the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar is clad rather than silver. From 1965 onward, most half-dollars were produced using a copper-nickel clad composition bonded to a pure copper core. By 1979, there was no regular issue silver half-dollar for circulation. This means the intrinsic metal value is based primarily on copper and nickel, which is far below the face value of 50 cents. However, collector demand can increase the market price depending on condition and rarity, especially for coins preserved in uncirculated grades. Uncirculated condition is a key factor in determining value. An uncirculated coin, often described as mint state, has never been used in commerce and retains its original mint luster. Grading services such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company use a numeric scale from MS60 to MS70 to describe the quality of uncirculated coins. A 1979 Kennedy half-dollar in MS60 condition may only be worth slightly above face value, while examples graded MS65 or higher with strong strike and brilliant luster can command a premium among collectors. In terms of mintage figures, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of half-dollars in 1979, making the coin common in circulated grades. Because of the high mintage, the average uncirculated example is generally valued between $1 and $5 depending on eye appeal and grade. Exceptional specimens in very high mint state grades can sell for higher amounts, particularly if certified by a reputable grading service and preserved in pristine condition with no visible contact marks. Collectors should also understand the difference between business strike coins and proof coins. Proof versions of the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar were struck at the San Francisco Mint and carry the S Mint mark. These proof coins were specially made for collectors with mirror-like surfaces and frosted design elements, and they were sold in annual proof sets by the United States Mint. A proof coin without a mint mark would be unusual for that year, so verifying authenticity is important when evaluating any potential error or variety. Market demand plays a significant role in determining value. The Kennedy half-dollar series remains popular due to its historical significance and attractive design. Many collectors assemble date and mint mark sets from 1964 to the present. While the 1979 Philadelphia issue is not rare, it can still be a desirable addition for collectors seeking high-grade examples. Coins with exceptional eye appeal, blazing luster, and minimal marks often attract competitive bidding in online auctions and coin shows. When preparing a script about this coin, it is helpful to guide viewers through the steps of evaluating their own coins. Begin by examining the coin under good lighting and magnification. Check for mint luster surface marks and strike quality. Weighing the coin and confirming its clad composition can also reassure viewers about authenticity. Encouraging viewers to compare recent auction sales can provide realistic expectations about current market value and help them avoid misinformation about exaggerated prices sometimes seen online. Storage and preservation are also important topics for discussion. Uncirculated coins should be stored in protective holders such as archival quality flips or certified slabs to prevent scratches and environmental damage. Avoid cleaning the coin since cleaning can drastically reduce its value over time. Proper storage can maintain the coin condition and potentially enhance its appeal to future buyers, especially if the coin remains free from toning spots or handling marks. In conclusion, the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark in uncirculated condition is a standard Philadelphia issue composed of copper nickel-clad and typically worth modest premiums above face value unless it grades in high mint state condition. Its value depends largely on preservation grade and collector demand. By understanding its history, composition, mintage, and grading standards, viewers can make informed decisions about buying, selling, or holding this coin and can appreciate its place within the broader legacy of the Kennedy half-dollar series in United States numismatic history. Thanks for watching.